Hello students, if you remember, last period we have started with a superposition of wave that we have seen the vibration of air column open at one end of the pipe and close at other end. Apart from at the same time we have seen the pipe open at both end, how the air column get vibrate. That already we have learned. After that there is one activity, or before that activity they have just given there is one activity. What they have shown here in this activity, just you can find out the velocity of sound wave at room temperature at anywhere on the earth's surface by using this activity. One hollow tube they will take, in that hollow tube another hollow tube was kept, and bigger hollow tube they will pour the water and just tune the tuning fork, move to the upper end. Suppose this is a tuning fork, tune it and put it above the inner side tube. Then it will behave as one end is in the water, other end is in the air. So that is a pipe open at air side and close at water side. When you put a tuning fork here and just move the inner pipe little bit above, it is seen that at certain distances we can hear a louder sound, just like a train engine make a sound. That type of sound we can hear. At that point we can say that this tuning fork frequency and whatever the air inside that pipe, the vibration frequency and this frequency get matched. That is said to be resonance. And by taking such a reading, by finding the vibrating length from the surface of water to the other end of the inner pipe, we have to measure the distance. That is said to be vibrating length of air column. And by taking this reading, we can find out velocity of sound wave at room temperature. How it will find out exactly, that we will see in the practical. So this is one of the activities. Just try to read it and try to understand it. Now let's go to next topic of our syllabus. That is nothing but a vibration of the string. String get vibrate means what? When the string is stretched between the two rigid support. String is stretched between the two rigid support. I have drawn here the diagram. Suppose this diagram, this dotted line represent the stretch condition of the string. After that, when we plug it here at the center, just apply some small force at the center, move it up, leave it, it start vibrating. And while doing this vibration, there are three conditions. We are assuming three conditions. There may be large number of conditions. The first condition is such that either only one loop get formed, this is the first condition, or two loops get formed, this is second condition, and third is three loops get formed, 1, 2 and 3, and fourth would be 4 loop, fifth would be 5 loop, and so on. Just consider 3, 1. So here let us assume that these are three figures. This is figure A, this is figure B, and this is figure C. As we know, single wave starts 0, ends at 0 here. This is single wave, one creased and one tuft will form a one wave. And this length is what? Wavelength. Wavelength means length of single wave. So it is L equal to lambda 1. Okay, wavelength of single wave. If half we consider, in half of this, only one loop. So this is half. So what is length? Length equal to lambda by 2. Half it is. In third one, what is that? Here it complete one single wave. It is lambda plus lambda by 2. It is 3 lambda by 2. So it is 3 lambda 2 by 2 we have taken. So these lengths we have taken from this diagram. Now our aim is to find out the frequencies, as we have find out in a pipe open at one end, close at other end, pipe open at both end. At that places we have derived the equation for frequencies only. Same way we have to derive the equation. Let us start here with the frequency to find the frequency of the first figure. So first figure. So write down for figure A. As initially we have derived the same for figure A. Now what is L? L equal to lambda by 2. This implies that lambda equal to twice L. That we know. And as we know the formula V equal to N lambda, N equal to V divided by lambda. This formula we know. This we have taken in a pipe open at both end, close at one end. That we have already learned this. So I am not going in detail. So we can write this as V divided by twice L. Just put the value of lambda. It comes to be V divided by twice L. But as we know, we can rewrite the same equation as N equal to 1 divided by twice L square root of T divided by M. Such equation they have written because here V equal to square root of T by M. Try to find it out. You get this equation. This V is said to be velocity is equal to T divided by M. Capital T is said to be tension in the string produced, and small m is said to be linear density, or sometimes said to be mass per unit length. That is said to be linear density. So we have written this equation. Now from this equation, what we can write? This is a frequency n. It is a forced frequency. It is said to be fundamental frequency. Fundamental frequency, basic frequency, or it is said to be forced harmonic. As we have learned in the pipe, open at both end and open at one and close at other. Same thing. Fundamental frequency is said to be what? Forced harmonic. That we have learned. Okay. Same way we have to go ahead further. For a figure 2. Let's go to the figure 2. So I will write down here for figure 2. Let's go little bit here. Next topic that is said to be for figure 2 we have to derive. So write down for figure 2 here. And let's start again. So for figure 2, what can we do? That we have to see here. Or same way we have to derive the equation for figure 2. So how they will derive the equation, that part is remaining, and that we are going to do now. So let's start for a figure 2. So I will write down here little bit adjustment I have done. So let's go second for figure 2 or B we can say. We have used a B. So figure B, L is equal to what? Lambda 1. So just we know lambda 1 equal to L. So as we know what? N equal to V by lambda, and it is what? V by lambda 1. Put the value of lambda 1. Okay. Then put the value of V. So you can write N equal to 1 divided by value of V we have to put. Lambda 1 is nothing but L. So it is, this should be 1, this should be 1. Just make correction. This is basic frequency, first higher frequency. So it is N1 lambda 1. Okay. And lambda 1 is L here. So just we have put that value. So what you get? 1 by L square root of T by M. This is square root of T by M is a velocity. Now here 1 by L we get. Here we get 1 by 2L. Multiply this equation and divide by 2. What we get? 2 into 1 divided by twice L square root of T by M. And this bracket term, suppose this is equation 1. If you compare the equation 1 bracket term, this is nothing but a N. So we can write here N1 equal to twice N. N1 equal to twice N. As we have learned this in case of pipe, open at both end or close at one end. Same way, N1 is said to be first overtone. First higher frequency than the fundamental, that is overtone. And it is said to be second harmonic. It is said to be second harmonic. So it is first overtone and second harmonic. It is said to be second harmonic. So you can say that it is said to be second harmonic. Similarly, you can put the value of L for third case, 3 loops here. L equal to thrice lambda by 2. Just I am not going to draw it. I hope you know well how this equation comes. So what we can write directly for figure 3? For figure 3, what can you write? N2 equal to thrice N it comes. Final equation I have written. Try to solve it. Definitely you get this. Try to solve it. You must get it and you must able to solve it now. Because already we have did a lot of equation. So from this it is said to be what? Second overtone and third harmonic. It is said to be second overtone and third harmonic and so on. In general, suppose we have considered it is pth harmonic. Pth overtone can be written as NP. Pth overtone equal to what? P plus 1th harmonic. So it is N. So it is pth overtone is P plus 1th harmonic. Just simple way. First overtone, second harmonic. It is more than one. Second overtone, third harmonic. Pth overtone, P plus 1th harmonic. So that is the thing that we have just general. We have written this. So this is the equation for a string stretched between the two rigid support. How it will behave, that we have seen here. Same thing in your book they have mentioned. And in this case we can say all harmonics are present. See, this is the first harmonic, second harmonic, third harmonic, fourth harmonic. So all harmonics are present in a stretched string between the two rigid support. When it vibrates, all harmonics are present. Depending on this equation, fundamental equation, there are 3 laws of vibration of the string that we have to learn now. Let's erase this part and just I will try to explain you what are the laws of vibrating string and how they comes to existence. So let's start with this. I have erased this part. We can erase this part also. Just put only one equation and then we go ahead. So as here in this equation, what you have to do, you have to remember velocity of vibrating stream is square root of T by M. That we have to remember. So I will write the same equation here. So you will write here N equal to 1 by twice L square root of T by M. Now here in this equation there are 3 terms. In this equation there are 3 terms. I have written a little bit above. Let's see. So we have written it same here. N equal to 1 by twice L square root of T by M. Here there are 3 terms. Here frequency we want to find out. L length, vibrating length, T tension in the string, and M mass per unit length, or it's said to be density, linear density. So these 3 parameters are there, and by this formula there are 3 laws of vibrating string. The first law of vibrating string is said to be, first one, it is said to be law of length. Law of length means what? The law is related to the length. Here the relation between frequency, here the relation between frequency and length was given. That's why it is said to be law of length. So let's start with here. It is said to be law of length. So how it get related? If it is related to length, so this is the parameter. If T and M are constant, so we write if T tension and mass per unit length are constant, then what will occur in this equation? N is inversely proportional to L. Just T and M are constant, 2 is a number, it is also constant. So fundamental frequency is inversely proportional to vibrating length, or we can write here N into L equal to some constant of proportionality, and this is said to be first law of vibrating string, that is said to be law of length, because it will give the relation of length. Let's go for second. So second is said to be law of tension. Law of tension as similar to this. So this law must represent what? The relation between frequency and tension. That's why it is said to be law of tension. What this law says? So T and M we want, T and N we want. So we have to consider remaining parameters constant out of this 3. So if length of vibrating length and mass per unit length are constant, then you can say N is directly proportional to square root of T. T is a tension. So we can say fundamental frequency of vibration of a air column or string, in this case the string, is directly proportional to square root of tension in the string, and that is said to be law of tension, or second law of vibrating string, law of tension. So this is the second law. Let's go to third one. So I will write the third one here. Third law gives the relation between mass per unit length, means linear density, and the frequency. So it is law of linear density. It is said to be law of linear density, or law of mass per unit length. So what this law says, that if, so this and this we want, so these 2 must be constant. So we should take if L and T are constant, L and T are constant, fundamental frequency of vibration is found to be directly proportional to 1 divided by square root of linear density. Another way we can say the fundamental frequency of vibration is inversely proportional to square root of linear density, mass per unit length. Same thing you can write here as another way, or we can write N into square root of M is equal to constant, as same thing we have written here. So that is the nothing but the third law of vibrating string, and that is said to be law of linear density. Apart from this, what the next they have done? Just they have tried to find out, or they have tried to solve this third law further. So let's go further for this third law. What can we do? So here the law represent what? fundamental frequency is inversely proportional to square root of linear density. But what is linear density? Linear density means what? It is mass per unit length. Linear density means what? It is mass per unit length. So how it will work, that we have to consider here. So let's start with this mass per unit length. Now while solving this, you must take a precautions that we have to put some values here. We have to put some values here and then we have to solve it. Let's try to solve it further. So how we get here? Let's start here. Linear density. Mass per unit volume. It will give the linear density. So sorry, linear density is linear. So not a volume. Linear means length. So mass per unit length is said to be linear density. Now if you remember, simple density will be represented by rho. Density equal to what? So this is what? Density. Density equal to what? Mass divided by volume. Okay. So mass divided by volume it is. That is said to be density. This equation implies that find out a mass. Mass equal to what? Volume into density rho. What is the volume of wire? Because it's string, na? What is the volume of string? 2 pi RL. So you can write this as 2 pi RL into density rho. That is what? Mass. Put this value of mass in this equation here. Put this value of mass in this equation. You can write density as mass is what? 2 pi RL into rho divided by L. L get cancelled out. Okay. So what we get here? We get only 2 pi R into rho. 2 pi R into rho. That we get a mass here. 2 pi RL that we have taken as a volume. So it should not be 2 pi RL because it is length. It is a wire like this wire. So it is what? Area. Volume is what? Area into the length. Okay. Area of wire is what? Pi R square into L. I have taken 2 pi RL. That is for cylinder. So that we should not take this. Okay. So what should we take here? Pi R square into L. So volume as here we should take pi R square into L into rho. Put it here. Pi R square into L into rho. L get cancelled out. What is remaining now? Pi R square into rho. That part is nothing but what? Mass. Okay. Per unit length. That is nothing but the linear density pi R square into rho. Same value we have to put here and solve the equation. Same value we have to put in the frequency and solve it. So let us start with here. As we know in this N is inversely proportional to M. Just I will come here. As we know, N is inversely proportional to M. M is a linear density. We get that value here. Pi R square rho. Just put that value here. You can write N is inversely proportional to square root of M that we have derived here. What is that square root of M? This linear density pi R square into rho. Put it here then. Then we will write here this as pi R square into rho. From this, pi is constant. So this implies that when density and pi are constant, this and these are constant, N is inversely proportional to R. R square outside the square root, it becomes R. So this first equation we get. Okay, when rho and pi are constant. When pi and R are constant, you can write N is inversely proportional to square root of rho. So these are the two conditions we get from this third equation, third law of vibrating string, that is said to be law of vibrating linear density, law of linear density for a string. So this fundamental frequency inversely proportional to radius of the string, fundamental frequency inversely proportional to square root of density of the string. So these two conditions we have find out here. Further, we have to go to the new experimental method that is said to be sonometer. What exactly sonometer? And these laws can be verified by using one instrument, and that instrument name is said to be sonometer. So before going to sonometer, remember 3 laws we have seen: law of length, law of tension, and law of linear density. So here let's see sonometer is what? Sonometer. So sonometer is an instrument made up of wooden block. It is wooden instrument that was shown in your figure 6.12. I will give you the figure also, 6.12. In that case, it is made up of wooden box, hollow box. Inside the box there is air, and this has two triangular bridges. Above the bridges, the wire was arranged. Wire one end is fixed, other end goes to both the bridge, and at the another end through the pulley, some weight can be attached to that string. When some weight is attached, the string becomes stretched on the two triangular support that is said to be bridges. And by using this instrument is said to be sonometer. Now how it look like that we will see, and then we will go further. So let us see this. This is a diagram. So in this diagram, it is diagram from your book. It is said to be sonometer. So this box, this is not table, is not a sonometer. This box itself, this wooden box is said to be sonometer. Now see this end here, it is said to be hook. At this hook, the string is attached, okay, above the box, and this line is nothing but a string. It goes to pulley here. Other end, the weight is attached. I have told you. Here is one triangular part, one bridge. Another triangular part is said to be second bridge, and over this wire is attached. Now this distance between this first bridge and second bridge, this bridge 1 and 2, the distance between these two bridges is nothing but a vibrating length of the wire. So what we have to do, just take a piece of paper, small piece of paper, and that is said to be rider. See here, R they have mentioned. The rider is kept exactly at the center of the wire in between these two bridges, exactly at the center. Then this we know it is tuning fork, this black color portion, Y shape, it is said to be tuning fork. When we tune the tuning fork, means collide the prongs of the tuning fork, the upper end, to the collider, and put this here vertical on this sonometer. Suppose this sonometer, put it here vertically. This pen is supposed tuning fork, put it like this. This bottom part is said to be stem of tuning fork. Put it on the sonometer. What will occur when we vibrate the tuning fork and put it on the sonometer? Vibration goes to box. That is said to be sonometer. Inside the sonometer there is a air, and accordingly air start vibrating. So vibration from this vibration from the tuning fork goes to sonometer. From the sonometer to air start vibrating. Then adjust the distance between the two bridges. Adjust the distance between the two bridges such that at certain distance, for certain frequency tuning fork, this rider paper start vibrating, and vibrations are so maximum that automatically paper fall down. Vibrations are such that automatically paper fall down. At that condition, frequency of this tuning fork and frequency of vibration of air column in the sonometer exactly match with each other, so that paper rider vibrate with the maximum amplitude and finally fall down. And this is said to be resonance. Two frequency matches. Frequency of tuning fork and frequency of vibration of air inside the box get matched. We can say resonance get occurred, and at that time when this paper thrown off the wire, measure the distance between the two bridges, that will give the vibrating length. This is for first tuning fork. Similarly, you can do for second, third, fourth tuning fork. That means you can change the tuning fork. Means what? We are changing this Y-shape instrument, means its frequency get changed. That is the first parameter that we are going to do for law of length. That we are going to use for first law, that is vibrating length, law of length. Second law, that is law of tension. In that case, use single tuning fork, or we can take larger also, single tuning fork. What we have to change? Change the weight, because it is related to tension. Tension in the string changes if you change the weight. If weight is more, tension is large. Weight is small, tension is less. Because we know the formula, tension T equal to M into G. So if mass get changed, tension get changed. So in that case to prove the law of tension, we have to change the masses. To prove the law of length, we have to change the tuning fork. So this is the basic explanation here. So let us start with here, as we have just seen before how sonometer works, or how it consists of hollow box, Wire is there, two bridges are there, paper rider is there, weight is there. That part we have seen. So now let's go further. This sonometer instrument is used to verify the laws of vibrating string. The first law of vibrating, verification of first law of vibrating string means what? The law of length that we have just taken. The fundamental frequency of vibration inversely proportional to vibrating length, or it is said to be NL equal to constant. That we have to prove by using this sonometer. So sometime in the practical situation it is said to be experiment sonometer first, Roman first. Why they will use a first? Because this instrument is used to verify the first law of vibrating string. So it is said to be sonometer first. Now how to verify it, that we have to do here. So simple thing, just take a tuning fork. I have told you, just take a tuning fork. I have taken tuning fork of frequency N1 suppose. Okay. Just vibrate it, put it on the sonometer. Find out the distance between the bridges. Suppose the distance between the two bridges where the paper rider get vibrated with maximum frequency and fall down. That length we have find out, and that is said to be vibrating length. For N1 it is L1. N2 second tuning fork of second frequency we have taken, and the length we get another L2, so on up to. So up to large number of tuning fork we have taken, large number of tuning fork we have taken, large number of vibrating length for certain frequency that we are using at that time. That vibrating length we have find out L1, L2, L3, so on up to Ln in general. So in this situation we know the first law of vibrating string. What is this? NL equal to constant. So NL equal to constant. This is the first law of vibrating string. What does it means? Whatever be the frequency you will take, whatever be the corresponding vibrating length, their product must be constant. Suppose we have find out N1 L1, then N2 L2, and so on up to. That product we have find out. This product must be same, and that value must be constant, and that we will observe in that experiment. And that's why it is said to be the first law get verified by using sonometer, that is said to be sonometer first. So what we are going to show in this case, N1 L1 equal to N2 L2 equal to N3 L3 equal to N4 L4, and so on. And all are nothing but what? Constant. That we want to show. All are nothing but what? Constant. That we have to show. And that we show by measuring the vibrating length for certain frequency. Just use this frequency. We know the frequency. Find out the vibrating length. Take their product. For second frequency, second vibrating length, take their product. These two must be same. Products must be same. Whatever be the frequency and the vibrating length, all the products are constant. And if they come to be constant, we can say first law of vibrating string is verified by using sonometer. Simply this is nothing but what? The experimental arrangement by using sonometer, we are going to derive the first law of vibrating string. That's it. It is nothing to explain much more. Similarly, we have to derive the second formula or second law of vibrating string we have to prove. So what is that? As it is second law of vibrating string get proved, it is said to be what? Second. Sonometer second. Second why? Because we are using it for to prove the second law of vibrating string. And that is what? Law of tension. That is nothing but what? Law of tension. And we know what is the law of tension? N is directly proportional to square root of T, or we can say N divided by square root of T equal to constant. So this law we have to derive here, and that is said to be second law of vibrating string. And by using same sonometer we are going to derive this, and that's why it is said to be law of tension, or sometimes said to be second law of vibrating string get proved, verification of second law of vibrating string. So here we have to show like this. Now remember, here we are using the term T. T is a tension, as we know, T equal to M into G. So when we change the T, G acceleration due to gravity is constant, okay, at that place. So what is changing? Mass is changing. How can you change the mass? To the string we have attached the mass. If that mass is more, M is large, T would be large. M is less, T would be less. So in this case, what we have to do? Just change the mass. T equal to mg we know. Just change this mass because this is constant. Change the mass. and this change in the mass correspond to change in the tension. So if you want to change the tension, change the mass, okay, for certain frequency. And finally, find out the total thing, and we can get here, that is nothing but a simple thing. Just suppose initially, as we know, for certain frequency N1, suppose tension in the string is what? T1. For this it is T1, N2 it is what? T2, and so on. N1, N2s are different frequencies. For N1 frequency, T1 is tension. N2 frequency, T2 is function. That is nothing but the tension. So finally, we can just use a formula. N1 divided by square root of T1 by this formula equal to N2 divided by square root of T2 equal to N3 divided by square root of T3, so on. Large number of things equal to what? Constant. All these ratios are constant. If they are found to be constant, we can say that the law of vibration of second law of vibration of the string get verified by using same instrument, sonometer. Hence our second aim is also verified. So we can say by using this, if this is possible, we can say the law of vibrating string get verified. Okay, so I hope so you remember this. So it is nothing but a law of tension. It is nothing but what? Law of tension. While writing this law of tension, one part, if you remember, we have the equation n equal to 1 divided by twice L square root of T by M. It is directly proportional to root T. If you see here, I have written here directly proportional to root T. So this n directly proportional to root T. If move it to this side, n by root T is constant. So both equations are same. Nothing to explain much more about this. So in this fashion, we can derive this second law of vibrating string by using the sonometer. Let's go to third law of vibrating string. But while deriving this third law of vibrating string, lot of people are using the sonometer also. Okay, lot of people can use the third law of vibrating string. They can use this sonometer also. But here, what is that third law? Law of linear density. Law of linear density. Mass per unit length that we have learned. Linear density. What is say that? N is directly proportional or inversely proportional to square root of M. Or we can write N into square root of M equal to constant. Same way we can do it also. Mass per unit length. Okay. Mass per unit length means linear density of the string. That we have to change, and we can prove this also. So finally, you can take a reading and you can write here N1 square root of M1. Similarly, N1, change the mass per unit length, change the frequency. N1 square root of M1, this is first. N2 square root of M2. If their product, if you find out, N2 square root of M2, so on. N3 square root of M3. For different thing, if we take, it come to be constant. And if this get proved, we can say third law of vibrating string, that is law of linear density, get proved here also. So this is the verification of law of length, law of tension in the string, and law of mass per unit length, small m, that is said to be linear density. That part we have seen up till now. Let's go further. Next topic of your syllabus is nothing but a beat. Might be all of you have heard the word beat. It is not drill beat, okay? Beat means what? Might be you are well known about heartbeat. Similarly, this is the phenomenon of beat. So heartbeat means what? You can hear the heartbeat of others also, your own also you can hear. When a doctor use the instrument stethoscope, actually that doctor want to know vibration of different part of your body. Your heart is vibrating, your veins are vibrating. Sometimes the doctor can observe the vibration of skin also. So that vibrations. So that vibration or heart vibration can be understood or heard in terms of beats. That is said to be heartbeat. Similarly, this phenomenon of beat is here. Now, what exactly phenomenon of beat? When two frequencies are there such that the two frequencies or two tuning fork of slightly different frequency tuned together. Two tuning fork. So first tuning fork has a frequency N1 and second has a N2. Okay. Such that N1 is not equal to N2, but N1 is nearly equal to N2. Let us consider two tuning fork. One tuning fork has a frequency N1, second tuning fork has a frequency N2, such that N1 and N2 are not same, but they are nearly equal to same. When such type of two tuning fork, if you take and vibrate them at the same time, you can observe that whatever be the wave, sound wave get produced, the sound wave at one instant, you can hear the maximum sound. Okay, at the another instant of time, you can hear the minimum sound, again maximum sound, again minimum sound. So when the two tuning fork of nearly equal frequency tune together, it is seen that here the voice is found to be alternate, maximum and minimum. And this maximum and minimum voice can be heard when we do this thing. This condition gets satisfied, then that is said to be phenomenon of beat. Remember, if you take a two tuning fork of equal frequency, exactly equal frequency, you can hear the sound of maximum intensity only. Maximum intensity. There is no minimum, because they combine together, they will form a resonance. Maximum intensity sound can be heard. But in the phenomenon of beat, there must be production of sound wave such that maximum and minimum sound can be heard alternatively. So the maximum intensity of sound heard is said to be maximum intensity of sound is said to be waxing, and minimum intensity of sound heard, it is said to be waning. So these are the two phenomenon, waxing and waning of the sound. Alternatively waxing and waning of the sound. Alternatively, maximum and minimum sound intensity can be heard, and that is said to be beats are formed. Beats are formed. Now this beat formation, there is an analytical method to determine this frequency of beat formation that we have to consider. So here simple mathematical equation we have to derive. Let's go for the derivation. So as we know, we have taken here two tuning fork of nearly equal frequencies. So before this, student, we have seen what is meant by the beat. When the two frequency, nearly two equal frequency sound wave beat together, at that time the maximum and minimum intensity sound get created, and that formation of maximum and minimum sound is said to be beat. Now here we have to consider the two sound waves are denoted by two different equations and then equate them. Let's consider the first wave is represented by y1 equal to a sine 2 pi, then n1 into t, n1 is the frequency of the first wave, minus x by lambda 1. As frequency is different, the wavelength would be different. Okay, y2 is the displacement of second wave, where we can write y2 is equal to a sine 2 pi n2t minus x by lambda 2. Both the equations are same, only difference is what? Here y1 for first wave, y2 for second wave. Here n1 for first, n2 for second. Lambda 1 for first wave, lambda 2 for second wave. Now suppose I am the observer. I am going to observe, or I am going to listen the resultant sound wave. I am going to hear it. And my position is suppose at x equal to 0 I am standing. Where x equal to 0, at that place I am standing and try to listen the formation of beat, whether it is maximum or minimum. So when x equal to 0, if we see here, this term and this second term get 0. And accordingly we can write a simple thing, y1 equal to a sine of 2 pi n1 into t. The first equation. y2 equal to a sine of 2 pi n2 into t. So these two equations we get because x term becomes 0 because x is 0. Now according to principle of superposition of wave, resultant displacement y equal to y1 plus y2, as we know that. Now put here value of y1 plus y2, rewrite the same equation. So we can write the as y equal to, y1 is what? A sine of 2 pi n1 into t, okay, plus a sine of 2 pi n2 into t. So this is nothing but what? Just we have added the two displacement to find out resultant displacement according to principle of superposition of wave. Now as we know that, what we know? As we know that this sine c plus sine d, let us assume that this term as c and this term as d. So there is one trigonometric formula. Sine c plus d is what? 2 sine c plus d by 2 into cos c minus d by 2. That formula we have to use. All of you are well known about this formula, 8 to 9 standard. 10 standard definitely you know. Those who have mathematics, they also know. Those who don't have mathematics, they also know this formula, because this formula you have learned up to 10th standard. So that formula we have to use. So suppose C and this D. A is common, so take it outside. So we can write twice A sine of C plus D. C means this plus D means this. Sine of 2 pi in the bracket N1 plus N2 we will write. N1 plus N2. C plus D divided by 2. T is again common. So you can take this T common. So we can write this equation like this. Twice A sine C plus D by 2. Similarly, into cos of C minus D by 2. Twice is already we have taken initially. Okay. Cos of C minus D. C minus D. So cos of 2 pi in the bracket C minus D. N1 minus N2 divide by 2. And outside the bracket it is T. So this is according to that formula. In both the case, just write down this term first, this term later. Then what we get here, twice A cos of 2 pi in the bracket N1 minus N2 divide by 2 outside the bracket T into sine term as it is. Sine of 2 pi N1 plus N2 divide by 2 into T. Now in this case, if you put this twice A cos of 2 pi N1 plus N2 divided by 2 into T as A, capital A, then you can write A sine of 2 pi N1 plus N2 divided by 2. N1 is the first frequency, N2 is second frequency, divided by 2 means what we have find out? Average frequency we have find out. So write down N1 plus N2 by 2 as N. So you can write A sine 2 pi NT. What is N here? N1 plus N2 divided by 2. Now this is nothing but a equation for resultant displacement. Y equal to A sine 2 pi NT, which is a resultant displacement produced in a beat by taking the two waves, which will produce the different displacement, resultant displacement we have find out by using the principle of superposition of wave. We will get this equation. Now apart from this, we have to derive the condition for maximum intensity sound, that is waxing, and condition for minimum intensity sound, that is said to be waning. Now let's start with the two. So here if we consider, then we will see here on the blackboard itself I have written the two conditions. What are the two conditions here? So that two condition, the first one for waxing of sound. Waxing means what? Here the intensity of sound is increase. Okay. Second one is here the waning of sound. Intensity of sound is minimum. Let's go with the first maximum. Then we will see for minimum. So as intensity is minimum, what should be the amplitude? Amplitude must be maximum. And what is the maximum amplitude of wave? That is A equal to plus minus 2A. What is capital A in this equation? It is twice A cos 2 pi N1 minus N2 divided by 2 into T. So if A equal to plus minus 2A, put the value of A this in this equation. You can write twice A cos of 2 pi N1 minus N2 divided by 2 into T. So this equation we have written, this is equal to plus minus 2A. Then and only then sound heard by observer is maximum. Divide both sides by twice A. This 2A cancel with this 2A, or divide both sides. We get plus minus 1 here. So cos of 2 pi N1 minus N2 divide by 2 into T equal to plus minus 1. As this is equal to plus minus 1, means suppose this is theta. Cos of theta is plus 1. When theta is 0. Okay. When theta is 0, cos of 0 is plus 1. Then when it becomes plus 1 again, if we consider the second condition, first condition, when cos theta is 0, theta is 0, cos 0 is plus 1. Similarly, cos 0 is plus 1 as we know. Second condition is what? When theta is pi. Theta, this is pi. Cos of pi is minus 1. 2 pi plus 1. 3 pi minus 1. So on. So this implies that this theta. Theta means what? 2 pi N1 minus N2 divided by 2 into T. Theta must be 0. Cos 0 is 1. Okay. 0. Cos 0 is 1. Or pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, so on. 4 pi, 5 pi and so on. Integral multiple of pi. In both the equation, this two get cancelled out. this pi and this pi get cancelled out. Okay, remaining terms as it is. Find the value of t. This equation implies that t equal to what? 0. Here it is 1. 1 divided by n1 minus n2. Second condition, n1 minus n2. Comma 2 divided by n1 minus n2. And third, 3 divided by n1 minus n2, and so on. If you considered here when the time is 0 and time is 1 divided by n1 minus n2, here maximum sound we can hear at 0. Maximum sound we can hear at this condition, 1 divided by n1 minus n2 when time is this. If we find out difference between these two, it comes to be 1 divided by n1 minus n2. Nearest maximum intensity point, maximum intensity means waxing point, nearest, consecutive. The difference in time period should be 1 divided by n1 minus n2. If someone consider these two, still it becomes difference is what? 2 minus 1 divided by n1 minus n2. So it is 1 divided by n1 minus n2. So again here also it is 1 divided by n1 minus n2. So one maximum and one minimum get occurred, then another maximum get occurred. Means what? Time period t is equal to 1 divided by n1 minus n2. This is the time period. After this time period, after every this time, there is a maximum intensity sound get occurred. Suppose at 0 we get maximum. Again after this time maximum. Again after this time again maximum, and so on. So this is a condition for time period is equal to this, then maximum intensity sound get here. And what is frequency? Frequency reciprocal of time, it is what? n1 minus n2. Just you take a reciprocal. So here frequency is n1 minus n2. Same thing we have to derive. But in the second part, what should be there? Intensity should be minimum. That is waning of sound or intensity of sound must be minimum. So the equation again, intensity is minimum means amplitude is 0. So A equal to 0. But we know A is what? Twice A cos 2 pi n1 minus n2 into T is 0. But twice A never be 0. So cos of this must be 0. If cos of this is 0, what should we do? If cos of this is 0 means theta, this is suppose theta. Cos of theta is 0. Theta equal to pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2. So put it here so that 2 pi n1 minus n2 divide by 2 into t equal to pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, 7 pi by 2, and so on. When theta has this value, then this cos of this 2 pi n1 minus n2 divided by t has this value, this cos of this is 0. So that condition we have used. Again 2 from this side, 2 to cancel, pi from this side get cancelled out. Find out t. So t equal to what? 1 by 2 is already there. n1 minus n2 goes to denominator. 1 divided by twice n1 minus n2. The first condition where minimum intensity sound can be here. Then next is what? 3 divided by twice n1 minus n2. That is second condition. Next 5 divided by twice n1 minus n2. That is third condition, and so on. At this time period, the waxing of sound can be here. Minimum intensity sound get here. Now if you consider this minus this, the two consecutive minimum intensity point, waning point. So 3 by 2 means 1.5 and 1 by 2 means 0.5. It comes to be 1. We have just 3 by 2 minus 1 by 2. n1 minus n2 remains same. So what is the difference between these two? The time period should be 1 divided by n1 minus n2. If someone consider these two consecutive, nearest, still it comes to be 1 by 2. Still it comes to be 1 divided by n1 minus n2. So what should be the time period? T equal to 1 divided by n1 minus n2. After this time, again the sound here would be minimum intensity. The waning of sound can be here. So the frequency is what? n1 minus n2, reciprocal of time. Now if you consider this case, waxing of sound and waning of sound get repeated after same time period, 1 divided by n1 minus n2, 1 divided by n1 minus n2. That means what? Here in the beat formation, alternatively maximum and minimum intensity sound get here and their time period is same. Now remember why this point is essential. This is analytical treatment. In board examination they might be asked you a simple question that show that frequency of the beat is equal to difference in the frequency of individual wave like this. You have to prove it here like this. You have to prove it here like this. If they have asked a specific question that show that the resultant frequency is difference in the frequency of individual wave for maximum intensity sound, waxing, we have to derive this. Waning, you have to derive this. If they have not mentioned anything, you can derive either this or this. If the marks are greater, you have to derive both. So that means difference in the frequency is nothing but a total frequency of resultant wave in waxing as well as in waning. Is that clear? So this is nothing but a equation for a frequency time period where the beats form waxing and waning, maximum and minimum intensity sound can be here. Apart from this, in your book now, if you see, there is figure 6.13. The first wave, it is a Y1. Second wave, it is a Y2. They have not mentioned there, but they must mention along Y-axis first the such type of wave they have shown. That is Y1. Second is Y2. Third is Y1 plus Y2. Means third is what? Beat get formed. Why the beat get formed? Because two nearly different frequencies, slightly different frequencies, they will create mix together and they will form a resultant wave that was given by third figure, and that third figure is nothing but what? The waxing and waning of sound, means formation of beat. Maximum point, maximum intensity or amplitude point is said to be what? Waxing. Minimum intensity point or amplitude is said to be waning. In this fashion, waxing and waning of the sound get created and it will result into formation of beat. So analytically they have shown it like this. Now what we have to do, remember, if we consider two tuning fork of same frequency, can we produce a beat? No, you can't, because they have the same frequency, they will give only maximum amplitude. But when the two tuning forks are tuned with a slightly different frequencies, then and only the maximum and minimum intensity get formed, sound get formed. That is said to be formation of the beat. Now slightly we'll stop here. Next period we'll start with application of beat. Now remember students, when you read this topic, before reading, watch my video. After that you read the same topic, and then and only then you get a better understanding. Still, if you have the problem, you can contact me. I will try to solve your problem. After finishing this chapter, we'll go to the next. If you remember, already we have finished semiconductor devices chapter. That whole thing we have done. Only I have sent video of the two videos of semiconductor chapter, because before that already we have learned on online lectures. Okay. After that we have started video forming. So semiconductor devices is over. Oscillation chapter is also over. Now this third, superposition of wave. Next video we are going to finish this and start new one. So at most we can say the 3 chapters are over out of 16. So you must prepare well for these 3 chapters. Prepare whole theoretical part, equations, diagram you must remember. After that, try to understand the solve numerical they have given in your book. Once you understand that, then go for exercise. Still, if you have any problem in a numerical, you can contact me. Okay. So thank you students. Take care.